Hello, I'm doing a book review, and the book I want to review is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas by Hunter S. Thompson. Now, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas was originally published in two parts in Rolling Stone magazine in 1971, but then in 1972 it was published as an actual novel. Now, this book was made into a movie in 1998, and this edition of the book I have is the movie tie-in edition because this cover here is actually the poster for the movie. Now, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is based on two trips that Hunter S. Thompson and his attorney, Acosta, I think is his last name. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that guy's last name right or not, but this book is based on two trips that Hunter Thompson and his attorney took to Las Vegas in March and April of 1971. Now, in the book, Hunter Thompson refers to himself as Raoul Duke, and he refers to his attorney as Dr. Gonzo. Now, I don't know how accurate this book is to the actual events that happened during Hunter Thompson and his attorney's trips to Las Vegas, and I don't know how accurate Raoul Duke and Dr. Gonzo are to the actual Hunter S. Thompson and the actual Acosta. But the book seems to be a very unique mix between journalism and fiction. Now, the basic plotline of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is it follows Hunter S. Thompson, who was a journalist. Him and his attorney are going to Las Vegas, at first to cover the Mint 400, but they later pretty much abandon that, and throughout the book they're high out of their minds on LSD and a multitude of other drugs, and throughout the book, Hunter Thompson is also trying to find the American dream, and that's the basic plot line of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. The book is a lot deeper than just that, but that's just a very basic outline of the plot. Now, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas is an excellent book, and the book is actually really funny. Like, throughout the book, Hunter S. Thompson is, like I said, he's high out of his mind on LSD, so there are a lot of parts in this book where he's hallucinating, so the book has a very surreal kind of feel to it, and there's a lot of parts of this book where you really kind of have to question how much of this is real and how much of this is just in his head. Like, in the beginning of the book, he hallucinates, like, as they're driving out to Vegas, he hallucinates that there are bats everywhere, and there's also another part of the book where he's at this bar at this hotel in Vegas, and he hallucinates that all the people at the bar are reptiles, and it's a really insane book. It's just insane what these characters do. Like, throughout the book, they also trash hotel rooms and stuff like that, so it's a really funny book, but underneath all that, the book is actually quite serious, and there's actually a lot of social commentary in the book. Now, even though the book was written in the 1970s and takes place in the 1970s, there's actually quite a bit of commentary on the 60s, and in the book there's a lot of commentary really on the downfall of 60s culture, particularly counterculture. It's really a commentary on the downfall of the whole hippie movement. It seems like Hunter Thompson, it seems like he felt the 60s was kind of a decade of hope, while it seems like he felt like the 70s, even though this book was written right in the beginning of the 1970s, it seemed like Hunter Thompson really felt like the 70s were going to be a very dark time in our history. So in the book, there's kind of a commentary on the differences between the 1960s and the 1970s. And in this book, there's this really great speech that is referred to as the wave speech, and basically the whole gist of the speech is how back in the 60s, the people involved with the whole hippie movement, like, they really felt like they were gonna change the world, but in a lot of ways, all they really did was just get high, and really that whole speech is about the failures of 60s counterculture. And in the book, Raoul Duke, or Hunter S. Thompson, he's trying to find the American dream in Las Vegas, and he really doesn't find it. Well, he kinda does and kinda doesn't at the same time. Basically, he looks around at all the insane shit that's in Vegas, at just how insane Vegas actually is, and he's like, yeah, this is it. This is the American dream at work here. Or at least that's how I kind of always read the book. And there's actually a really great scene in the book where Thompson and his attorney are at this, like, restaurant, and they tell the waitress there that they're looking for the American dream, but the way they start talking about the American dream in this particular chapter in the book, they're talking about it as if it were an actual place, and the waitress is like, oh yeah, I think it's on some street, and they go to where the waitress tells them this building called the American Dream is, and when they get there, they're told that it burnt down 2 years ago. So yeah, even though this is a very funny book and a very entertaining book, there is a lot of commentary in the book on, once again, the downfall of 60s counterculture and really kind of the downfall of the American dream. Now, one of my favorite parts of this book, it's a scene, like, later on in the book where Hunter Thompson has to cover this anti-drug seminar, and I found this scene in the book really funny because you have this professor talking about marijuana, and everything he's saying is complete bullshit, and I also found it to be funny because you have Hunter Thompson and his attorney there who are both, like, hardcore drug users, and they're at this anti-drug seminar. I found it funny because it was kind of ironic. Also, there's a scene in this book where Dr. Gonzo is talking to this cop from, I think the state was Arizona, but he's talking to this cop about the effects of drugs, and everything he's telling this cop is complete bullshit, and he knows it, but he's still telling this cop all this bullshit about drugs just to fuck with the cop's head. It was a really funny scene in the book. And there are actually some pretty funny illustrations in this book, like, right here and here, that's a hitchhiker that they pick up in the beginning of the book. And here's another one that's supposed to be Raoul Duke right there. Now, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, as I said, was made into a movie in 1998, which I have right here. Now, the movie was directed by Terry Gilliam, who also directed movies like Brazil and 12 Monkeys, and I absolutely love the movie. And in the movie, Johnny Depp played Raoul Duke, or Hunter S. Thompson, and Benicio del Toro played Dr. Gonzo, or Oscar Acosta. The movie also had cameo appearances from people like Tobey Maguire and Cameron Diaz and Gary Busey, and surprisingly, a lot of people really don't like the movie adaptation of this book, but I personally think it's a brilliant movie, and I think the movie does a great job at adapting the book. It does change a few things here and there, but what movie adaptation of a book doesn't? I do think the movie really does do a good job at capturing the spirit of the novel. Now, unfortunately, Hunter S. Thompson killed himself in 2005, and Oscar Acosta actually disappeared in 1974, and to this day, nobody really knows what happened to him. That's kind of sad when you think about it, though, that the two people who inspired the two protagonists of this novel ended up having rather tragic endings. But yeah, that's my review on Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and bye.